Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave from Corn Productions with my co-host Stacie, here to talk about From Season 1, Episode 5, Silhouettes. Sorry, the dogs are distracting me. Basically,
4 dogs.
Yes, 4 dogs. You're probably going to hear from them a little bit during the course of this podcast. You're definitely going to see them. This is...
That's
Jeffrey. I can never tell them apart. Basically, we're doing a rewatch recap. I mean, we've already done 5 of these at this point. Well, 4 plus this one. So you probably get the general concept by now if you're watching. Basically, we're rewatching the episode. As we watch, you can rewatch with us or you can just listen to us talk, whichever. And yeah, no notes, no preparation. We're just live reacting to it. And yeah, we're also shooting this back to back with the episode 4. Kind of like the block shooting of the actual Prom series.
Except they were in 2, so it would have been 3 and 4, 5 and 6. So
okay, so we're a little off. We're a little off. So shout outs, we don't have any yet because nobody has had a chance to react to the previous video.
That we filmed 5 minutes ago.
Right. But hey, hi Latrice. Hi Ashley Wright. Hi all the usuals.
Hi whoever's here.
Yes, yeah. So,
let me get this pug on the couch before he cries so he can't jump up. There we go. Okay. So, you're going to load your MGM Plus account. We have ours up and running and pick episode 5, Silhouettes. And we've already watched the previously on. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
We've already watched the previously on segment. And we are paused at the 1 minute and 42 second mark when it says MGM Presents on the screen. That's where we're going to start. So, go ahead and pause us and get to that spot. And then come back and we will do a countdown to start the video. Again, we're at the 1 minute 42 second mark and MGM Presents is on our screen.
All right. So you doing the countdown this time or do you want me to?
Whatever.
All right, I'll do it. 3, 2, 1.
It always takes a second.
And yeah, it pauses a little bit.
So we are getting a
cold open this time.
A cold open, yeah. Episode 4 didn't have one.
And, we're seeing the...
we're seeing the barn animals. I think this is the only time we really see them.
Mm-hmm.
And who is this person?
I don't recall ever seeing her.
Some extra. She's not an extra because she has a line, so she's got a credit.
Right. Basically, Sarah's brother is being told about her going to the infirmary, and Christy is currently checking her out. Oh, okay. So that's where this conversation is going to take place eventually. This episode.
This is that night. So yeah, Sarah's at the clinic with Christy. I don't think we saw Christy in episode 4.
No, I think we saw her briefly.
Mm-hmm.
There was at least one scene between the two of them, I thought.
Today I'm using my mug from the Museum of the Moving Image in Brooklyn, right? It was in Brooklyn? Somewhere in New York.
Somewhere in New York.
We went there like 6 weeks ago, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
I've got pictures of that up on my Instagram if you want to check those out. We had a great time there.
We did. And today I'm drinking tea from the Corman Productions mug. The previous one I was drinking from the Seattle mug that I got while I was in Seattle. All sorts of trips, being represented here.
But the Corman Productions mug you can get on our Zazzle page.
Mm-hmm.
If you click onto the Corman Productions link tree, which will be in the description of this video, you can head on over to Zazzle, where lots of great Corman Productions merch, as well as other things related to the fandom. Some Frumily stuff is there. Great place to get gifts for your Frumily for Christmas.
I really want that light up sign, but I want it in a Corman Productions version of it, even though it costs like 160 something bucks. So I think Boyd here is talking to Christy about his possible Parkinson's.
Right. This is where he's expressing his concern. He thinks he's genetically caught Parkinson's. I think he said his dad had it. Somebody had it, and she's kind of like, that's not how that works. It's not really genetic.
Mm-hmm.
So is it telling us, does he not actually have Parkinson's?
Right.
Like, is he already being affected by something in the town?
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I never really thought of that.
She was like, that's not how Parkinson's works.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'm positive that's what it is, because this is exactly what my dad went through. And she's like, well, even if it is, like, it's not going to progress that quickly.
Right.
And we get that type of conversation a lot throughout these first 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm. So Sarah basically told Boyd that she does not want to see her brother.
Well,
right
she
now.
told Christy, who told Boyd, and now Boyd is playing interception to keep Nathan out.
Unfortunately, I watched the Giants game yesterday, and there were a lot of interceptions.
Oh. Well, this isn't going to play for another week, so.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm predicting the future. There's probably going to be a lot of interceptions in the next game too.
Oh boy.
Maybe they'll be for my team rather than against them.
Can only hope. Who are they playing next week? Do you know?
The Dolphins, who were the team that beat the Broncos like 70-23 or something like that. So, but they did lose previously. So, who knows?
Ethan is worried about Sarah, which is just kind of heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm. For multiple different reasons. One, he's worried about his friend, and two, we know where this is going.
Yep. And they're reassuring him that Christy's going to take care of Sarah. Be better if she did it, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Norman is on the table there. Tabitha was just playing with him, I think. Or did I imagine that?
He ends up
there he is.
Yeah, he ends up losing Norman at one point, right?
Norman ends up in this house when this house is
when it collapses,
no more.
yeah. And they're not going to go digging for him.
They haven't yet. Although they recovered the talisman pretty easily without making that a thing, so who knows?
They probably didn't want to make that a question in the series. Oh, yeah, okay. So this is where they start to lose the deposit on their house.
Yeah, they're going to start writing on the walls. And Ethan's like, my parents have gone insane. Why are you writing on the walls? We're not supposed to write on the walls. Ethan always being the mature sound of reason.
Right.
I mean, you're living here. Who knows how long you're going to live here? Why are you writing on the walls? Go get some paper. Or find a dry erase and do it on the window where you can just wipe it off. But permanent marker on the walls.
Right. Even in season 2, I will still be giving them crap during the podcast. Oh, yeah. So I was rewatching the podcast. And,
okay.
It's funny because it's funny how, like, my opinions
and now we've got our song playing.
Our intro.
Go ahead.
So now's a good time for this conversation. It's funny how my opinions on certain characters kind of morph over time. Like, particularly towards Jade, who I didn't really like in this first season. And Jim, who I had started to respect in that first episode of season 2. And then he kind of craps that away as the season goes along. Because, like, I as the season goes along, I'm like, he just completely loses me. Like, with his actions and his attitudes, and particularly towards Victor.
Yeah. But he doesn't grow.
Yeah.
And,
which is something
watching the dog.
We spent plenty of time talking about last week, but, yeah. And, nope, I don't think...
We're still in it.
Yep, still...
Long song.
Que sera, sera.
Yeah.
I feel like singing.
I know, we can't, though, because we'll get a copyright strike.
Right.
Which is why we play the episode on mute, so that the volume doesn't end up in our video, because you can't do that. Can't do that.
Alright, so that... Last week we were questioning, or the last video, whatever, it was last week. We questioned what that thing was that the little boy, the boy in white was, riding on, the spinny thing. If anybody happens to know the answer to that question...
I mean, I want to call it a merry-go-round, but also that's not what a merry-go-round is.
I thought maybe it was like called a carousel, but I'm not totally sure. But we are arriving, I believe, to the end of the credits. I never realized how long these things were.
They are very long. But, I like the song, so I don't notice it. I never skip the intro when I'm watching.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I know a lot of people do skip the intro, and then, like, MGM Plus doesn't actually skip it. When you hit skip, it goes, like, halfway, because it doesn't realize how long it is.
Vivian Lee wrote this one. I know she wrote a couple of season 2 ones.
Not that Vivian Lee, though.
Who's the Vivian Lee that you're thinking of?
Oh, Vivian Lee is the name of the actress who does the shower scene in Psycho. That's Vivian Lee.
Okay.
No, I'm wrong. That's Janet Lee.
Yes.
Who is Vivian Lee?
The writer of this episode.
I thought there was an actress Vivian Lee as well.
I'm sure there is. I don't.
That's Janet Lee I'm talking about. Anyways.
And to think that people come to watch us because we might actually know something.
I can look it up later, but I know there's a Vivian Lee that's an actress. I just can't think of who she is.
So Christy's being all nice to
Sarah, Sarah's having some pretty like, she's morally questioning what's happening, right? She doesn't actually know if she should be listening to these voices. She's not an evil person.
I love that Sarah's just like, oh, you and Kenny make a cute couple. And, yeah, he's like, oh, no, we're just friends. And Sarah's like, why? He's really nice and he loves you. And this is where they have
This is where we learn about Christy's fiance, Mario. Which I didn't realize we learned her name in season 1.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. And this particular scene is going to end up haunting Christy as the series progresses.
Right. She blames herself for the things that are about to happen.
And
all of the things that are about to happen.
Like, I've rewatched this scene a couple of times now. And, both times I'm like, what the hell, Christy? Why didn't the things that Sarah was asking raise alarm bells?
Yeah. But then again, why would you think that somebody just chatting with you is, planning to murder someone?
Right. I don't know. I mean, I definitely don't think she would predict that she's going to go and try and kill a 10-year-old boy.
Right.
Or however old.
I think he's 8.
8, yeah.
Or 9. We hear his age in season 2, too. Both of the kids' age we hear in season 2, but I don't remember specifically what they told us.
Julie's 16, I know that much. They specifically say that, and I remember that.
And they specifically say Ethan's age, it's when he's confronting Sarah, actually. Or was that in season 1? No, it's in season 2.
That he confronts Sarah?
Yeah.
That's season 2.
Yeah.
That's after the whole... Yeah, that's when she...
It all kind of blends together. So remember, this whole thing's taking place over 2 weeks for them.
Right.
Not a lot of time is passing.
So at least she questions what she's talking about.
Yeah, and I think at this point she's kind of just like, I don't know what you're talking about, so yeah, whatever. So if someone came up to you right now and said, do this one bad thing and everyone gets to go home, would you do it?
Well, would you?
I mean, and she's like, well, yeah, that's what we want more than anything is to go home. So
right.
Sure. What does the one bad thing mean? If she specifically said, if you were asked to murder someone, would you do it? I think she might have given a different answer.
Stacie, if you were asked to murder an 8-year-old boy and it would get us out of this situation, would you do it?
No.
Okay, good to know.
But see, she didn't say it that way. She was just like, if you had to do something bad, really something bad, telling a lie to somebody, you know?
Something bad is pretty vague. I mean, something bad could be ranging from, punching somebody in the arm to murder. There's a range of something bad.
Right.
That's
a big range.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the answer is, but what the question is, but the answer is 12.
Yeah, and that's an interesting line. Should 12 be one of those numbers we're watching for?
Yeah.
We've already got 4 and 7 in this series. But for him to just be like 12, or was that, I don't know which one of them said that. The problem with watching, just reading the scene is I'm missing sometimes whose the lines are attributed to.
Tabitha is questioning how writing on the walls is going to have them solve the problem.
She's now on Ethan's side that this is kind of crazy. What are we doing?
And, it seems like she's going to be rational, but then she's going to be the one who's going to be digging a giant hole in the basement.
Yeah, she hasn't found her thing yet, right? This is Jim's thing. Until, he's introduced to his real thing, which I think is happening soon. And she is going to get her thing. And then they're both going to spiral, and Ethan's going to kind of be left on his own. Well, both of his parents are going the little cuckoo.
Well, at least he has Victor.
All right, so it's morning. Christy and Sarah had their whole sleepover all night. They thought it was fun. They said, let's do it again sometime. You don't have to be sick.
Spoiler alert, that's not going to happen again.
Yeah, no, probably not.
Yeah, so from Christy's perspective, she thinks she's just had a fun girls' night.
Yeah, like she doesn't have a lot of company. She used to have people here, but now she like lives alone because Gina's dead and Mr. Lou's gone.
But in general, something more significant has happened here. She's given Sarah the motivation to go along with.
And Sarah stole that scalpel. That she took a peek at earlier. Mm-hmm. So Nathan's like, "You're insane. What's happening?" And she's telling him, firsthand about what happened at the diner. And he's like, no, we need to talk about this some more. Like, obviously, he's concerned about what's happening to her. He's concerned about what she's done. He realizes, I can't just keep quiet about this, that people need to know about this. And Julie's making her list. A list that Fatima will recognize as something they've all done.
Right.
The list of,
I thought she kept wearing that dress that she was wearing up until episode 7, but apparently
I think she wears it again.
She does.
Yeah, at the party.
So she changed out of it. I thought she just kept wearing the same dress.
They do laundry here, remember?
That's good. Like I did laundry today. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Yeah, last week when you're watching this video.
So yeah, a list of all the people who she kind of left behind, and she's worried about who's worrying about them. Mm-hmm. We've got some more bonding here between these two girls.
It would be you, Adam, the dog, maybe my kid, my mom, maybe.
Perhaps all of our listeners.
Oh yeah.
They'd miss you.
Oh, well, that's
if
good.
If you disappeared.
Yeah, I'll try not to.
We'd have to start a campaign to look for the tree. Because if you disappear, obviously you're in Fromville. Like, where else would you be?
Okay. So nothing else possibly could have happened.
Yeah, we'll know. We gotta go find the tree. Like, that's where you're gonna be.
Now, me and Carla have a couple of times, and you and I have also talked about the possibility of ending up in Fromville and getting a place to live. And
yeah, it seems like a sweet deal.
It's really not so bad because rent is pretty cheap. Mm-hmm. Like, so I don't know.
I'm really good at just staying inside. Mm-hmm. I could totally handle that.
Right, yeah. I'm kind of a homebody myself.
I think we're going to get a Tom scene.
We're also going to get a Trudy scene with
So this is where
Jade.
Trudy is, like, completely coming on to Jade. Very, very strongly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this approach would scare me, that's for sure. But in Jade's case, it just kind of confuses him.
His mind is on this radio and trying to figure out how to use it to benefit him. He hasn't quite figured it out yet.
And just so you're aware, telling somebody that you watch them while you're sleeping is not a good come on. It tends to come off a little bit creepy. I'm actually kind of curious how long Trudy's been here.
Well, less than a year.
Okay.
Because at the party...
Oh, that's right.
She makes a reference to, I don't think I'm going to make it to my 1-year party. And she's right. Mm-hmm. Boy, just staring at that map. Wonder where... Is he trying to figure it all out again? Or do their minds not even go there anymore? These long-time residents.
Well, he's currently spacing off, and Kenny wants to know what's the deal.
Oh, I think he's about to go visit, he wants to go visit her grave, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So he's thinking about her. He's probably looking at their marker and thinking about the trip they were on. And what were they doing? Were they moving? Like, they had him moving.
Were they going to get his boat or something?
Well, he didn't know about it.
Right,
until they were already driving.
Yeah.
I think they were moving. Oh, okay, yeah. So he was retiring from the military. So they're probably moving from, like, military housing. Into
civilian housing?
Probably. Something like that.
Oh.
All right, so we
We're
got
at Tom's bar.
a busy bar. Tom is doing his thing. Reed Price there.
Who
And
we had a chance to talk to.
this is Jade's first time wandering in here, I think, and he's like, "What?"
Right.
He likes this place because he's gonna choose to live here once it's vacant. At least the couple of nights that we've seen.
Mm-hmm. He's not a very big fan of the alcohol.
He's not impressed with
the potato vodka.
Tom's potato vodka. I should have brought a.
But he's still gonna drink it.
I'm gonna go grab it.
Okay.
You keep watching.
Okay, I'll keep watching. And maybe I'll talk a little bit while I wait for you.
I'm not going far. I'm back.
Oh, okay.
I'm back. I just wanted to grab our Tom's potato vodka shot glass. Oh, it's backwards. You get the drift. That's available at our Zazzle store as well. Tom's potato vodka.
Multiple opportunities to, sell our stuff. So I kind of end up. I really like this scene with Jade and Tom because eventually, basically, Tom is gonna give him a little bit of sass.
Yeah, this is their first kind of philosophical conversation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the next time they're going to have a conversation like this, one of them is dead. So, this is the groundwork for that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And this is where we come into that, was that Tom's ghost or was that Jade's interpretation of a conversation with Tom based on the fact that they had this conversation?
Right. Same thing that I like with the Boyd Kotry ghost scenes. He missed there. He tried to pour some alcohol in and he mostly didn't get it in. I don't think, anyway.
Well, Reed told us he doesn't have any bartending experience.
Gotcha. I mean, that's why.
I don't think that was intentional. I think he just missed.
It was a nice try, though. So, Tom's a little skeptical here that Jade is going to be the one to figure it out. And, my interpretation, which is different from Reed's interpretation of Tom as a character, is that he's been around for a long time and he's seen so many people come through thinking that they're going to, solve everything, that he's basically become kind of jaded to the point where we're like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, I've seen this play out 1,000 times. You're not going to be the guy. But I think Reed has a different interpretation of Tom's character. He doesn't see him as cynical or jaded. He sees him as a smart guy. And I'm not sure. You know what? Go and watch
the interview.
Yeah. I'll include the link for that in the description. Because Reed Price says it better than I could.
Yeah, he would give his opinion better than you would give his opinion.
Yes, fair enough. I could summarize it, but
so Tom is telling us, how this place is the same as Schrodinger's cat, right? And the people back home don't know if we're dead or alive because we disappeared without a trace. And are we dead or alive? I don't know, but we're here.
I never noticed that sign in the background, the extra smooth cigarette sign.
Remember, this is a gas station.
I wonder, what is that? The brand Extra Smooth?
I don't think so.
No, probably.
I think it's brandless.
So it's a generic box of cigarettes that they're advertising.
And Jade seems kind of impressed by that conversation.
It definitely sticks with him.
Yeah, which, makes sense of why he's the one who ends up channeling Tom later. They formed instantly this philosophical camaraderie. I really like Jade.
Yeah.
He's a very dynamic character.
And like I said, when I watched season 1, I didn't really like him that much, but season 2 kind of changed my opinion.
So this is where Tabitha is realizing that his wounds are healing really quickly, and she's kind of disturbed by this. She's like, something's not natural here.
Now,
as Tom would tell us, it's not that it's not natural, it's just that it's unfamiliar.
Now, I would say that perhaps Ethan has physically healed to the point where he maybe does not need the crutch anymore. And that the crutch that so many people complain about is more of a psychological need than a physical need. Mm-hmm. Like, he could probably walk without it, but it's a literal crutch.
Right. But also Victor gave it to him. Mm-hmm. So he's going to...
It has meaning and importance.
It has meaning, and, you know, it's part of his quest.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's only been like 3 days at this point.
Right.
So, even though, yeah, it's healing quickly, that still was hell of a wound.
Yeah, I mean, like... Yeah, that was like straight through the leg and probably damaged the muscle. He's lucky that he can ever walk again, honestly.
Yeah. And the fact that she was a little confused and possibly disturbed that it's healing so quickly is something they kind of glossed over. You know? Like, I think that would have been a bigger point if shit didn't start hitting the fan the way it's about to.
Right. Yep, Sarah's about to go off with Ethan and a little...
They're just going to the playground right now.
Okay.
But then next she's going to invite him to go see the barn. So I think she's trying to figure out how to do it here. And I think she's like, well, I need to get him away from his parents. I mean, how do you think you're going to get away with this? You know, she thinks that, okay, the voices told her if she kills him, they're going to get to go home. But, like, where do you think you play into that after you murdered a child?
Yeah, I don't know.
So Nathan goes to confide in Cautry. He needs someone to talk to about what's going on with his sister. He knows it's not okay what's happening.
Right.
He doesn't know about kill the boy. I don't think she told him that part, but he knows what she already did at the clinic, and probably doesn't trust that you know that's all she's gonna do. So here's the Brundles. The first time we're meeting it, they brought Julie here to kind of show her, like, hey, it's not all terrible. And this time we can see all these people are just hanging out here partying. It's a happy place. This is the last time we're going to see this in such a happy setting.
Right.
Every other time we see it, it's abandoned. Mm-hmm. People have a lot more on their mind.
Yeah. People
start dying.
That tends to dampen the spirits a little bit.
We learned that the Brundles is in... Elgin's dream. Well, we never quite got back to what about his dream involved the Brundles.
Yeah, the reference is Lake of Tears, right? That Ethan gives.
Possibly.
I believe that is the Lake of Tears. The Brundles is basically the Lake of Tears.
Yeah. Now, is this just a lake? Does it close on that end, or is it a river? Is there some extension of this that they haven't explored?
I'm not sure. We only see, like, a small portion of it. Like, does this even qualify as a lake? More like a pond.
Like, yeah, what is this? Is this just a small body of water, or does this connect to more water, I guess? Mm-hmm. Is there a creek that brings us to a full river?
Is there an ocean? Can we go to the ocean?
Now, in the cave drawings, you know, that we'll see at the end of this season, and I think we see them right at the end of this season, you can clearly see there's people on boats on a lake or on a river. Mm-hmm. Like, you can see that in the cave drawings. Is this that water? Does this water go somewhere?
Right.
Or did it at one point?
Mm-hmm.
Where were those people going on those boats?
Right.
And is that some clue on how to get out of here or deal with something?
You figure if there were a way out, people would have tried it.
Or what does it have to do with Elgin's dream and, you know, the whole drowning thing and...
Elgin's dream. What they ended up describing about Elgin's dream is pretty disappointing.
Right.
To do.
Because he didn't mention the Brundles again, but he tells us when he first talked about his dream, he saw the Brundles. He said, take me here, and it meant something to him coming here.
Now, maybe what he described wasn't his full dream,
right,
but just part of it. But if that's it, that's not good enough for, like, a season worth of build-up.
Yes. All right, so while we're busy talking about the water, they have some heart-to-heart. Is this where she told... See, I wasn't actually reading just now. Did she just tell her about her dad? Or did that not happen yet?
Wow. Ellis is going into the water with his shoes on. That sucks. It's very uncomfortable to, you know, walk out of a water with wet shoes. And Sarah and Ethan are having adorable time together. What did Ethan say about the Chromonacle?
I don't know. But it's brought up again, which,
Right.
obviously the Chromonacle story is important because it's brought up so many times. And this is where Sarah's like, okay, I need to take him away. Let's go feed the animals.
I like how Sarah just slowly escalates things. It's like, oh, we'll just ride around this thing. Oh, well, now we'll go to feed the animals.
But Tabitha is like, sure, I'll come along. And we can see some of Jim's questions there. He's questioning how the talisman work. Where did the livestock come from? Why don't the monsters eat the livestock? He's got a lot of great questions on his wall. And this is the first time we're meeting Abby, seeing Abby's grave. We had a tiny reference to her in the last episode. Knowing that, actually I don't even know if we know who the she was in that conversation. She would have died for nothing.
Right.
Obviously we know. They were talking about Abby, but I don't know if that was revealed specifically during that conversation. And Boyd's telling Abby everything that's been happening the last few days.
Describing the plot of the past 4 episodes.
Yeah. And, interesting to note, she's buried way out here in the middle of some field, not at the church where the graveyard is.
Kachi was present when Boyd first got there.
Yes, he was. He was there for all that.
For some reason.
He's the one who actually stopped them, and
right.
Because they came, right as dusk was falling.
We're going to see that. I think that information comes in episode 8, I think, is when we see that flashback.
I'm not sure.
Happens sometime
this season.
Sometime after episode 7. And I don't think it happens before that.
Yeah, you might be right. 8. So I feel like Kotri had already died when we got that flashback. Yeah.
This is a nice setup. Nice meadow area.
Yeah, we're getting some emotions between Boyd and Abby. Hearing little tidbits about their life together.
This is a testament to Harold Perneau's acting ability, because he's basically acting this emotional scene out with nobody. He's talking to a stick basically, and bringing all these various emotions out, from being upset to laughing about a memory they shared together.
We're getting some baseball references.
Oh, pretty nice. Got to swing for the fences. Should have mowed some of this and have a picnic out here.
I'm sure he has. And Kotri is sitting in his weird rock circle. When Nathan Okay, so Nathan had gone to the church, and I guess when Kotri wasn't there, he knew to come here to look for him. I don't know how far away exactly this is. We'll learn later this is where his bag is buried, right in the middle of these stones. And I come from the opinion, I think these stones are the slabs that the ghoulish children are on.
Okay.
As opposed to laying down, I think they're standing up. And somebody said there's not the same number, but I'm pretty sure there's 7. So I want to actually try counting while we see them here in this scene, if they're going to show us... If they're going to show us enough of them in frame at once to do that.
Maybe a wide shot.
Yeah. But I could have swore there were 7, like I counted them before. But I could be wrong. But to me, I feel like they look the same, just standing up instead of laying down.
Right. So now Sarah has to figure out a way to get rid of the mother.
Yeah.
So she can kill the boy in peace.
We got the goats and the chickens.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing this area again.
Yeah, we
until
kind
after
of.
the scene.
What do you mean?
Like, after this episode, I don't recall seeing, like, the goats and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, Nathan dies, so who's taking care of them? Do they just abandon them? Because they kind of need them.
Right.
Some other unnamed extras must be taking care
Maybe
of them,
this
I
is
guess.
where Jade should be instead of the bar.
I don't think they have a talisman for the barn, though.
No.
Because the monsters don't attack the livestock. That's one of the questions Jim wrote on the
Right,
wall is,
right.
well, why don't they eat them?
Mm-hmm.
So she's talking about before the talisman, people used to just hide, which we know is true. Like
Right.
we've seen that, or we will see that. So she's not lying about any of this, but she's definitely using this as an excuse to try and get Tabitha out of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, let me go show you a hiding spot.
This is innocent. I'm just an innocent little girl. It's funny, Avery Conrad is in her 30s, but she looks very much like she's in her 20s.
Yeah.
She looks really young.
I mean, I don't think we know Sarah's specific age, but I get the impression she's quite young.
Mm-hmm.
So, Nathan's worried about what Kotru's going to do with this information. Apparently, he promised that he wouldn't put her in the box.
I was only able to see 5 rocks, by the way. 5 slabs.
Oh, I forgot to count them. I was reading. Alright, so she's like, here's this secret hole in the wall of the barn where people used to hide, so...
Sarah is way too good at this.
Yeah, so she locks her in the wall. I'm doing this for you. I'm gonna go murder your son for you.
Right.
So you can leave.
Right.
Because that's obviously what you'd prefer, right?
Right.
You'd prefer to leave than to have a child?
Yeah, sure. Like, who needs Ethan around? They already lost one son. They still have Julie. Yeah. I don't think, I'm pretty positive that Sarah didn't think this
Boyd
through.
just had that boat key in his hand.
Oh.
He tucked it in his pocket.
So, Kotru was kind of urgent about coming back to town, and now he's like just casually strolling around talking to Boyd.
Because Boyd stopped him, so...
Well, why not explain the situation at that point? Why doesn't he do that?
Ooh, Tom's at the diner.
Oh, Tom's at the diner. I wonder if they served Tom's vodka here. Or was it just in the bar?
He's letting, he let Nathan know that, where he saw Sarah. She's...
That's a pretty...
Because nobody knows what she's about to do. They're just worried, like, oh, she's unstable.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little, like, they're showing urgency, but I don't think they really know, like, oh, it is urgent.
Right.
Like, it is happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, what are you doing? Why am I locked up? This can't be good, right?
I really like you, but I'm about to stab you.
And she's trying to make him think, like, this is good, right? I'm going to kill you, and you're going to be the hero.
Yeah. And here's her brother trying to stop her.
Trying to stop her, trying to save Ethan. Tabitha is frantically like, what is going on out there? Ethan gets away. Sarah tries subduing Sarah and...
Gets his throat cut.
Yeah, scalpel sharp.
Right. And it's like...
Oh, it's very cut.
The second time? Yeah, that's not going to work, Sarah. She's trying to block the blood from coming out with her hands, and no, that's not going to work. And yeah, Kotru happens upon them in this unfortunate situation. Yeah, and I've raised this question before, but what's with all the throat cutting in
There's a lot of throat stuff.
Right. Like, that seems the most common way for people to die in this series.
Yeah.
Other than getting eaten by monsters.
Right. Even Khatri dies by a monster's hand.
Right.
At his throat.
Mm-hmm.
So, Julie and Fatima and Ellis are on their way back from the Brundles when Ethan intersects them.
Intercepts? Did you say intersects or intercepts?
I don't know.
One or the other.
Both are true.
Mm. So at this point, the entire town is coming to this situation at the barn.
He hears his wife yelling, so he goes to get her out.
And at this point, neither one of them knows where Ethan is.
Right, because he's not here anymore. He left.
I mean, not that it's uncommon for them not to know where their child
Right.
is, but...
Alright, so they're like, yay, Ethan is safe, but what's going on? Oh, Nathan's dead. Yeah, you're too late, Christy. Too late. And Boyd's just like, I can't even go visit my wife's grave without shit hitting the fan while I'm
Right.
gone for 5 minutes. Alright, so Khatri tells us I couldn't catch up with her. We'll soon learn he's lying.
That's a lie.
He did most certainly catch up with her.
Mm-hmm. And perhaps that's the reason why he didn't explain the situation to Boyd. Because for some reason he thinks that, and we'll get more information on this, that Sarah is an answer to some question.
Right. So, and you know, as far as Boyd knows, this is true. She ran off into the woods, and if she comes back, we'll handle it.
If not, the
It's
monsters
handled.
will take care of it for
Yeah.
us.
But that's not good enough answer for Jim.
I mean, I don't really blame Jim for being pissed here.
Yeah. Get a Mayberry reference.
Does that make Boyd Don Knotts? Or
That would make Kenny.
right. Oh yeah, okay. Wow, the name is escaping me.
Andy Griffith?
Andy Griffith.
Alright, so they're realizing maybe we suck as parents.
Maybe, just maybe.
Julie's realizing maybe I should hang out with my parents some more, be around.
To make up for the...
Because, like, hey, cool, my family lives here, but this is my first time in this house.
Uh-huh.
Although she doesn't stay yet. She won't stay until she doesn't have a choice.
Right.
But she's like, yeah, I'll visit my family. I'll take the kid upstairs.
I will do a bad job babysitting.
So she's getting into Chromonautical spirit. She's trying to be a good sister.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully she doesn't go into Megan's room.
He's walking up those stairs without a crutch.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the crutch.
And she came up with the question that she wants to add to the wall. Which I don't think is the right question.
And what is she asking?
Her question is, did we survive the crash? She's wondering
okay.
now, are we dead? Now, her real question is, are we dead?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a valid question. Did we survive the crash? Isn't the question. Because she'll end up asking, is it Tom that has this conversation with her at some point? It's either Tom or Khatri. And they'll say, yeah, you survived the crash because you were already stuck here before the crash.
Right.
The crash isn't what got you here.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the question. You may have died before that incident. You may all be dead. That is still a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to point out, no, you didn't die in the crash, doesn't answer the question, are we certain we're alive?
Right. It's a valid question, I don't think it's actually the answer to what's going on in the series. Necessarily.
I think a lot of people would be upset if the answer is they were dead the whole time.
Yeah, they'll be like incorrectly basically
Right.
saying that, oh, well, it ended just like Lost. Even though that's not how Lost ended
Not
at
how
all.
Lost ended at all.
And now I know for sure because
You actually
I watched the
watched it.
series.
And you understood it.
Right. That was an ongoing subplot of the From podcast is like my not watching Lost and then watching it and then, like by the end of the series, like actually having watched all the episodes and understanding the ending and the things that you were complaining about the fandom about. So Christy at this point is feeling guilty about the whole Sarah thing.
Yeah, because she gave her permission.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I should have noticed that something was wrong. I mean, you should have.
Yeah.
You should have noticed. But also, you're not a psychologist. You're a medical student.
Mm-hmm. She's asking, if it's not my fault, then who?
I mean...
And that's a pretty good question. I mean, it comes down to
Sarah?
Sarah's. Yeah. Granted, she's being manipulated by an outside
Right,
force.
but she decided to listen to those voices in her head.
Right.
And we still don't know who or what exactly is talking to Sarah.
Right.
And are they good or bad?
Mm-hmm.
I still don't have an opinion on that. Are they trying to help these people? They might be.
A force is telling them to kill Ethan, and you think that's for good intentions?
They could be telling the truth. If he dies, you can all leave. There could be truth to that. Because maybe something he's doing is what's preventing this from wrapping up.
Then why not just say, stop doing that, Ethan?
Victor lived, and the cycle continued.
Mm-hmm.
So if Victor had died, would it have broken the cycle and ended Fromville?
Interesting.
There's so much we don't know that I can't say for certain this is an evil voice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does it sound like should we be like, killing kids is helpful? Well, I mean, I don't want to give that message, but maybe once it all plays out, that'll make sense that they were telling the truth.
You heard it
okay,
first.
so right in the end there, it's over. But that's okay, we can still talk about it. He heard the song play. So he said, I need a sign. Or he'd asked...
Oh, okay, so that happened
That just happened. So, he was asking his wife for a sign. And if I had a boat came on. Okay. So when he was at the grave, actually, is when he said that, I suppose. I missed it. But, give me a sign that I'm making the right choice. And we don't know yet what he's talking about. But in his head, he's already like, I need to go out and look for answers. Be like I did when I found the talisman. When I found the talisman, I was out looking for answers and something happened. And Khatri earlier was being like, or last episode was like, you're the one who has to get these people home. You have to figure it out. You're like their leader, right? So it's up to you. And so he's like, I need to do something. I want to go out, but Abby, tell me, is that a good idea?
Right.
And he said, give me a sign. And he just got his sign, if I had a boat, started playing on the jukebox. Which we have no idea what that means, but to him, it meant something.
Right.
And soon we'll learn what that means. Obviously, that was a symbolic song between them. We'll eventually get that flashback episode. Like you said, I think it's 8.
Yep.
And we'll learn the significance of the song specifically. But he has every reason to believe that's Abby communicating with him. And then when he's later in the woods with Sarah, and she says it was a woman's voice, and she told me I was wrong. I'm pretty sure that's what the Abby that's talking to Sarah is saying is, I was wrong telling you to go out here. I was wrong giving you that sign, telling you it's the right thing to do.
Right.
Other people have interpreted that as her saying, I was wrong in killing people will wake them up.
Right.
But I took it directly as, I was wrong giving you the sign to come out in the woods. You shouldn't be in the woods right now.
I don't know what Abby actually is. I don't know.
I think at this point, he's actually communicating with Abby.
Okay. So
in my opinion.
Right.
I could be wrong.
So the Abby that we see in season 2 is a different Abby than the one we see in season hear from
that's
in season 1.
what I think.
Okay.
I think that the Abby in season 1, I believe the ghosts are controlling the jukebox. I think these are messages that somebody wants them to hear. Probably the good forces.
Right.
And because I think that really did come from Abby, probably the people who have died here. I'm not 100% sure about, like, the spider web Abby. But I think the voice that Sarah heard was Abby.
Okay.
Saying, I was wrong. Turn back. But maybe Spiderweb Abby was the entity. Gotcha. But definitely, I think season 2 Abby is not Abby.
No, I don't think that was Abby at all. All right. We got anything else for this episode?
Okay. So silhouettes. You know, in season 2, we dug real deep into, like, episode titles and their meanings. What are we getting at with this title? Because I got nothing.
Silhouettes would be like you see a person behind, like, a sheet kind of deal.
Right, like we get in season 2.
Right.
With the ballerina, like shadows. So
what would that mean for this episode? Mm-hmm. Who are we seeing behind a sheet?
Right. I'm at a loss for the title of this episode's importance.
Maybe it's a reference to not really seeing Sarah's real agenda, or not really seeing who Sarah really is. Or perhaps just not seeing the whole picture for what it really is. We're seeing it behind the sheet, basically.
So that's something I want to hear. Like, what do you guys think about the title of this episode? Because most of these episodes have, like, really deep meanings.
Yeah.
The episode titles.
And yeah, so that's an interesting title that I can't figure out how it fits into this episode.
Like, I don't see, like, a significant association. So if you have something, let us know.
All right.
And next time we'll be back to cover episode 6.
All right. We would like to hear from you. Stacie can be reached at?
I can be reached on Twitter, X, Instagram, Threads at TVN Coupon Talk.
If you like this video and want to support the channel, you can follow me on Twitter at Core Productions. You can join my Core Productions Facebook page. You can buy a product from the Zazzle store, on the Core Productions store on Zazzle, like this mug, this shirt. You can buy me a coffee, which is a new way to support content creators such as ourselves. And of course, you can like, share, and comment on this video, as well as subscribing to our channel. This is Dave and Stacie from Core Productions, signing off.